Hello, I want to welcome everybody to the Doug Loughridge Coaches Show. I'm host Jared Schoonover. We're going into week 6. We talk a lot about football on this show. Before we get started this week, Coach Loughridge, I'd like to give a shout out to somebody, the man that right now is running this program as far as our AV Tech program, somebody that's working hard and not just doing a great job with the production and all the extra things that come along with what he's working with, but also growing kids and really does a great job investing. That's Brian Allen. We're really grateful. Brian's behind the camera right now, or Mr. Allen, I should say, is behind the camera right now, behind the computers, and does a great job for us, not just with the show, but also with the overall program, with our students here in the classes he teaches, and with the live stream that we have on Friday nights. But I want to give a special shout out because something that's kind of neat that Mr. Allen does is this is a student-led program, both with the coaches show and the live stream. You'll see the kids if you come up with the box or you look up top as far as in that nest up top, you'll see a bunch of kids up there, 5 or 6, 7 of them working on a Friday night. And in particular in here tonight, we have Miss Braley Scarborough. Braley, will you come over here real quick? I want to show you on the camera real quick. Okay. Just a quick peek of Braley. Braley does a great job for us. And Braley, now are you a senior?
Junior.
A junior, okay. Braley, I just want to tell you thank you for what you do, the investment that you are putting in this, and you got a bright future ahead of you, girl, whatever it may be. But if it is in this industry, in this world, I think you're going to be great at it. But I really appreciate you. Thank you, Braley, for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so as we go on and talk, Coach, I want to talk, we're at the midway point of the season. We finished 5 games. We're through our 5 games. And you look at this year with last year, and let's compare the 2 seasons. We're in the same record as we were a year ago, but it's 2 completely different football teams. They're both 2 and 3, but some stats that were sent over and some highlights between the 2 years from last year, this year. We're significantly, we are less in points given up, and we're significantly more in points scored. Okay, we've climbed the ladder in that. Our passing percentage is almost doubled. We've got more rushing yards on the season. We're doubled our passing yardage on the season. First win in 4 years at home. Okay, first shutout since November 2019, and first Mercy Rule victory since September 19, 2014. So there's some stats I want to throw out to the folks here in Siloam Springs just to show the difference in the growth. You knew when you came into this program 2 years ago on, I believe, a 28-game losing streak, and really, when you look at the past, it wasn't a lot of close games. So it's not always the record that you look at, which 2 and 3, the first 5 games is from where it was to where it is now, is definitely growth. But sometimes 2 and 3 is the 2 seasons are completely different. So can you talk a little bit about your experience as far as the growth of this program and compare the 2 and 3 seasons and what you've seen as far as just direction?
Obviously, when you look at the newspaper, everything that everybody gauges everything on is wins. You know, how many, if your number in the left column is bigger than the one on the right. And obviously, you know, with going, so that is true. Wins create, can take care of a lot of things. But when you're coming into a program that maybe has struggled, and you've got to find the small victories. You know, the big victories come later. That's where you get the wins in the left-hand columns. The small victories are all the little victories that add up to get to that point. And this is chapter 2, as I always tell the seniors. They're the second chapter in this book that we're writing. Last year, the seniors were the first chapter, and they got over the hump of the 27-game losing streak. They won, but they won close games. This group has the 2 games that they've won were, you know, without any doubt, who was the better team on that night. We are more competitive, I think, for every ball game, even with the game the other night against Van Buren. You know, it is with like 2 minutes left in the first half. It's 10-0, and we're getting the ball at half. So they're competing for 4 full quarters. You know, our crowd's great. The people are still coming to the ball game support. They're staying well into the second half, no matter what's happening. So we've got that support. But the growth we made as far as offensively and defensively, the way we practice, the way we live, everything that we do is contributing to that. And, you know, even with this year, we're still starting a bunch of young guys, 9th, 10th, 11th graders that will all be back next year.
Yeah, you know, that was my next question. The next thing I want to talk about, and I agree, Coach, one of the things that you look at as far as the growth of a program, you really want to look at, it's really easy to not be at the ball game or not watch the live stream. Wake up on Saturday morning. It used to be get the newspaper out and look at the box scores, but now it's get on the internet, hop on whatever site you use to look at scores, and really not to get a grasp and a chance to see what direction things are going. But for me personally, I can easily see the growth in the program from a standpoint of both offense and defensive schemes, both how we have a plan. And even when I look from last year to this year, offensively, what we hang our hat on, and it takes time to do that. Coach Marsh I believe, is doing a good job with our, really creating identity with our run game, and something that you're going to continue to see grow and grow. But you talked about the young guys in the program playing. I believe it's 17 underclassmen right now that are starting on both sides of the ball. 17 underclassmen. That's somebody told me a long time ago that every sophomore, and in this case freshman that you play, oftentimes equals a loss in the season. That formula, it's kind of crazy. I mean, when I heard that when I was young, Barry Lundy told me that when I coached for him, and Coach Lundy told me that, and I was like, I don't see that. As my career progressed over the next 20 years, it was pretty accurate. And so when you play young guys, you're going to have growing pains. But the good thing about it is that when you have a plan and you're developing it and you understand how to grow players, which I know that you do, when those young guys become upperclassmen, which is coming around the pipe, in the next 2 years, you're going to see that growth in this program. And you're going to the wins are going to be on the left side of the margin, and I think that's a big deal. You just have to be patient with that, everybody. And we knew that going in, as far as Siloam knew that. You knew that when you took this job. We just have to be patient and look at the overall growth, not just at the scoreboard. We always want to. I know you're as big a competitor as anybody. I see that on your face on a Friday night. I know that for you, as a head coach, you want not only for yourself and your staff, but you want for your kids to have, get that win on a Friday night. But I know you're patient and understand that growth, and we're just glad that you're here. But could you talk a little bit about the 17 that are returning, and just how you foresee? And we got 5 games left this year. We're not done talking, but we're just giving a recap. The 17 young guys that are playing for you, and what you see with them in the future.
Yeah, like I said, with that, we are starting a lot of underclassmen. We've got some key seniors in some key spots, obviously, and we love all of our seniors, and they've done a great job. Most of those guys are starting somewhere on special teams or offense or defense, or they're a quality backup or whatever. But after as bad as the other night felt, I'm a big numbers guy, and I just wanted to break down. Okay, we're at week 5. Where were we this year in 2025 in week 5 compared to 2024? And those were just some of the things we looked at as a staff, and it was like, hey, we have made progress, and that the numbers show that. We'll do the same thing by the end of the season. But underclassmen that are starting, most of our secondary, our safeties are seniors with Jackson and with Cole, and now we've moved Jack back in there to like a hybrid guy. So we've got 3 of those seniors back there, but we've got both our corners. Our corners and their backups are juniors and sophomores with Hudson and Weston and Freddie and Marcus. Our linebacker core right now is all underclassmen with Estacio and Avery Ratliff and Dean Floyd, and we've got some backups with Adam Turner and with Jaden Coleman coming in. So we've got young, and then defensive line wise, we've got Isaac, who was returning starter last year as a senior, but Boaz is a junior. Blake Huff is a junior. Marcus McKnight has emerged as a senior and done real well for us. And Stuart Swaninger has as well. But again, most of those guys in that class is lower classmen. And then offensively, we do have 2 seniors who start on front, which are 2 tackles, Cisco and Josh. But our center and 2 guards are underclassmen, Kale and Collier and Brett Gold. And then we've got Masons at running back. We also got Ryan Estacio backs up there with Jaden. We've got a 9th grade quarterback with Titus. Our receivers are, Hudson and Marcus playing the inside. Jackson will back him up. And then tight end wise, you got Hudson and Stewart, and then Jack on the outside. So there's a lot of those guys that we say their names every Friday night, or you do, and they're guys you're going to say them again next year.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see individual growth of players, and you hit it on the head. That should have been the first question I asked, was talking a little bit about the seniors, because your seniors this year have stepped up in the big way in the first 5 games. I wanted to make a point of how young of a team we had, but we are fortunate with some of the upperclassmen that we do have that have done a great job for us on Friday night. And really, Coach, one of the things I look is just body language and how kids are competing. And I've seen that across the board every Friday night. Kids are laying on the line. They've got good body language, and I just see a lot of positive. And that shows a lot as far as just the direction and growth of the program. Because anytime that you're in the building mode and you're going through hard times and you're playing young players, you're going to take lumps. It's going to be tough nights. And we're going to talk about that the next 3 weeks. I looked at the rankings in 6A. They threw the rankings out today. On Tuesdays, they throw the rankings out in all classes. I looked at the rankings in 6A, 1, 2, and 3. We've got Greenwood number 1, Shiloh Christian number 2, and Mountain Home number 3. And those are our next 3 opponents, 1, 2, and 3 in the state in 6A. And so that leads us kind of into that next question that I have. When you know what's in front of you, and obviously you're going to take it one game at a time. We're not going to talk about all 3 of them, but still, you know what this chunk is in front of you as far as these next 3 weeks. What's the mindset going into this section of the season, and just your message to the team and how you prepare and how you just compete?
Well, when we met Sundays as staff, the first thing we did was, okay, through week 5, where are we at? What is our best play? And just looking at the numbers, what has the most production every time we run it? What play are we running in a ball game that has the worst? Well, we probably don't need to do that. What are we practicing during the week that we're not using? So we self-evaluate ourselves through week 5 on Sunday, looked at those things. Do we have the right people and the right personnel? We were doing some different things scheme-wise and moving some people around that we didn't have the first couple of weeks just because who's producing and who's not. Right. And a lot of guys getting some opportunities. So the self-evaluation of that, obviously. But when I talked to the kids Monday after coming back from Friday night and gave them all the things that we've improved on and built in Chapter 2, I think they were kind of awestruck with we have done much better because going into this year, there was a lot, of banter about y'all won't be as good as we were this year. That with that group from last year, and we are growing. We keep growing, and the kids know that. But moving forward, those kids that we talked about that played on Fridays, they don't play on Monday nights on the JV games. So we take 30 kids that don't play very much on Fridays, and they play every Monday night against a JV team, against teams that are playing some guys that play. So they're sticking their face in the fire, and then these young guys are sticking on Friday nights are sticking their face in the fire against the best from everywhere else. But going forward, I talked to the kids Monday. We're playing a faceless opponent. We're going in with a team this week. We're going to work on the things we're going to get better at. We know what they're going to do scheme-wise. We just got to work on us and not worry about what's on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I love what you say about self-scouting. I think it's one of the most underused things in coaching. People that really understand the value. It's so much that you spend so much time critiquing and evaluating your opponent. But if you really want to grow as a program and you really want to turn the corner as a program, I think you got to look at yourself first. First thing you do, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it where you don't even realize you've been doing something really well in a handful of times. Well, we need to expand that right there. That kid needs more touches, or that kid, we're having more success with that than what we thought. Or vice versa. Hey, we're spending a bunch of time in practice and investing, because that's what it is, investing a lot of minutes on something that on Friday night we get away from really quick. So let's get away. I love it. I love the fact that that's the mindset, and that just shows the direction as well. Let's talk a little bit. So we talk about the next 3 games. We know it's 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, the one that we're focused on right now is Greenwood, and that's the number 1 team in the state. How do you talk to kids about? I think one of the most important things that you do when you play a number 1 team in the state is you look at it as an opportunity. And so kind of talk a little bit about that as far as that mindset of we get to play the number 1 team in the state, and how we should look at that as an opportunity.
It is, and I'm as bold to say that the state champion and probably the runner-up in the state finals this year will come from our conference. Yeah. Last year, if you look at it, 3 of the 4 teams from the semifinals were from our conference. So every week we're playing the best, and for us to ever get to that level, we have to go out and compete with those teams. And that's the exact thing I think our kids are doing. They're competing. They're not scared. They're not saying, well, we're going to this. We don't have a chance. That's not it. Like I said, we're working on us. They look at that as an opportunity to go and play what is proclaimed right now as the best team in the state, because you don't know that until week 15. So just to be able to do that, to see some of the best players in the state, to see the best coaches in the state, that's great for our coaching staff, and it's great for our players.
We know Coach Young. He obviously inherited a program from Rick Jones, who inherited a program from Ronnie Peacock. There might have been someone in between Coach Peacock and Rick Jones, but when you look at the overall just success of that program in Greenwood, and the number of, you go into their indoor and see the number of banners they have hanging on their top. They've been doing this for, there is no classes that are short on talent. They don't probably have they don't have any freshmen playing, and they don't have a lot of sophomores playing right now. And that's the growth of their program and where they're at. But you look at Greenwood, they played their three non-conference games were against 3 7A opponents, and they beat all 3 7A teams. And one of them is the number 3 team in 7A right now, and that's Bentonville West. Beat them at Bentonville West, I believe, early in the season, week 2. So they're a team of talent. It is an opportunity. I love the fact that you just have the mindset that we're going to go after and go get them. That has to be what we just got. We got to go compete, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the opportunity to go down there. Talk a little bit about. So we talked about Greenwood. Talk a little bit about some kids. As you self-scouted, who are some kids maybe that we don't see in the stat sheet right now that you could shout out a little bit of that, as you self-scout and say, hey, this kid, he is getting it done here.
First that comes up is the guys that never get their name paper that come to mind is the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
If you look at all 5 games and what we've rushed for, we've got a 500-yard rusher right now, plus that's through midseason that will transpose hopefully as a 1,000-yard rusher by the end of the year. And that doesn't happen without the guys up front. Like I said, the 2 seniors we got and the 3 underclassmen have done a really, really good job. First-year offensive line coach Jackson Bray has taken that group and done a great job with them. He gives them, about 28 periods a day to himself. So he's really invested in those guys. Marcus McKnight, who we talked about earlier. Marcus is a good story. Last year he played linebacker, and he came to me and he's like, Coach, I don't want to sit on the sidelines next year as a senior. What can I do to get on the football field? And I just looked at him and said, Marcus, you're going to have to get a lot stronger and a lot bigger. And he took that on himself. The thing about Marcus has a motor, and that you'll see that. So we probably had him out of position at linebacker. So Coach Benson has taken him as a defensive lineman, and he's 155-pound nose guard, but he plays as hard as he can every snap and just gives guys trouble with his speed and his strength. So those are some people just off the bat you can think of. We've had some good sophomores come in with some backup roles, like Jaden Coleman has had some big kickoff returns. Dean Floyd's come in and filled in for Ryan Estacio when he was hurt at Mike Backer and has got on the tackle chart quite a bit. Hudson Larcher just came in for Weston Bowerman, who got hurt at corner and did a great job the other night in his first game out against a guy that runs a 10-900 meter in our conference. So
leading receiver in the state
yes.
going into last week.
Yes, I think he was held to like 2 catches.
Yeah. No, he was a kid that and you could tell just in our coverage we were focused on bracketing him and doing some different things with him. And Hudson did do a good job on him. We talked a lot about him in pregame going into last week, just being a leading receiver in the state, and obviously a kid that they lean on and go to. And we did take him out of the game plan anyway. Coach, we talked a little bit before, and I stepped over this, but I think it's important we go back to it as we close this show up and just talk about the future. There's going to be a reconfiguration of this conference. And as we grow as a program, everything's about timing. It really is. It's about timing of coaches. You got to have the right coaches in place, which we do. You got to have, the growth of athletes into the program, which we have these athletes that are coming up the pipe, and some seniors right now that are doing a great job competing as well, and we're proud of them. And a couple of pretty good ball players that are seniors as well. But we got a young group coming up the pipe, and then our schedule's going to flip in a year, and that conference is going to change too. We got Greenwood, who we're playing this week, they've already decided is going to be out of the conference. They're going to drop down to 5A from 6A. You've got Shiloh Christian because of the rules with private schools. They're going to have, it's a point system, and they've won or been a part of enough state championships that their program gets bumped. So they'll be bumped up there in the 7A West with Bentonville and Rogers and Harbor and Fayetteville. And so out they go, and then we've got a couple new teams coming, and there's a couple different options that they're looking at right now in the state. I know Southwest Little Rock is a team that's coming in, more than likely going to be in the conference, and then it's a toss-up between a couple others. But not going to be the number one team in the state and not going to be the number two team in the state. We're going to lose both of those teams out of our conference. So that's really I think, is a bright spot and a positive. Not that you want to shy away from the best, but it is about timing as you grow a program, getting the opportunity to week in and week out not have to play 1, 2, and 3 in the middle of the season. I think that's a plus. Would you agree?
That's a big plus for our program right now at this point with who we have coming up at that time. So with the reconfiguration of the 6A West, that'll be big for us. And it changes every 2 years, so who knows what it looks like in 2 years. But at that point, I really feel like Siloam Springs football will be in a different spot in 2028 than in 2025 with our last year at this.
Right. Yeah, when that cycle ends in 2 years, or basically 3 years from now, 2 full seasons after this season, that cycle could change again. But yeah, Coach, again, not about the left and the right on the win column all the time. Sometimes you got to sit down, you got to self-scout, you got to evaluate where you're at. You get to do that a lot more than I do because it's your job. I get to do it just from a loving what you're doing standpoint, sitting up top and watching every game on Friday night, but I get to see it. And Coach, as always, I love what you do with young men. I like how you're a kid-focused person, and I like the direction of our football program. We just got to keep building and stay behind our football program and keep that faith going, which I don't think there's any doubt that people have. Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it. I look forward to week 6.
Thank you. It'll be a great week. Thank you.